what I want to do first is run through just some really simple conversion optimization tips, things that you can go to your website right now, have a look at, and think, oh, actually, I may not be doing the best job possible with that. And if I make this tweak, potentially my website could be working harder for me, getting more conversions in. So we do have a blog post on improving your conversion rate, and it defines terms like conversion rate. And you can get that blog post at taleist.agency/7things. So taleist.agency/7things. But your conversion rate is essentially the percentage of visitors to your website who do something you want them to do. It's up to you what you want them to do. Usually it's pick up the phone and call you, send you an email, download something, buy something, but it might be you want them to visit a particular page. You want more people who arrive on your website to visit a particular page for a particular reason. So that would be a conversion. Everybody you bring in who does thing A and then goes on to the page that you want them to go to would count as a conversion. But as I say, at taleist.agency/7things, there's more there for you. So we're going to talk about simple things that you can do to improve your conversion rate. I've got 4 tips for you. And the first tip is first things first. And if you've ever heard me talk about conversion rates before, I always start with this tip because it's commonly something that people don't do. And it's maddening in a way that they don't, because it's such an easy thing to do and it's such an obvious thing to do, and yet it seems to be so easy to miss. And that is, tell the visitor to your website what you do the minute they arrive. So this is an example of a client of ours called Logicata. And you are not in any, I mean, you might be in some doubt when you arrive on their website because you may not know what AWS is and you may not know what managed cloud services are. But I can assure you that to their ideal client, AWS managed cloud services is as easy to understand as cheese sandwiches. So if you are in their target market, you've arrived on this page because you are looking for, in as many words, an AWS managed cloud service provider. And there it is. That is the top level heading on this page. I'm an AWS managed cloud services provider, and we take operational tasks off your plate and provide a team of qualified AWS experts you can call on 24/7. It's not cute. It's not clever. It's just what they do. So the moment somebody arrives on this website, they have confidence that these are the people I'm looking for. Or alternatively, they're confident you're not the person they're looking for. Somehow they've accidentally ended up on this website. They can see they're in the wrong place and they go somewhere else. People who have uncertainty or don't have confidence don't buy. The more confidence you can build on your website, the more likely people are to take the action that you want them to take. So the next example is chosen at random. I, through long experience, know that accountants are particularly bad at using positioning statements above the fold on their website. So I just typed Sydney accountant into Google, and this was the first result that came up. So I'm not I've left the name of the company there because the name of the company is right there in that headline. So in a sense, this is a good positioning statement if the visitor to the website might be in some doubt whether they've landed on the website of Gunderson Briggs. So absolutely, it's a great positioning statement if that is the most important thing. So somebody who already knows you has come to your website. Alternatively, maybe you were looking for an accountant, but nothing above the fold on this website says we are accountants. There's an artistic picture of somebody playing cricket, not necessarily got anything to do with accounting. Measuring the right things right. I mean, that could be a carpenter, could be an astronaut, could be any number of things. Doesn't say accounting, and Gunderson Briggs doesn't say accounting. So you have no choice in a way but to click learn more if you're genuinely interested in learning more. But alternatively, you might just hit the back button and go back to Google. So you've lost some of the confidence that you could have been building above the fold. So it might be that if we scroll down 1 centimeter, it would say we are accountants in Sydney. But a lot of people won't scroll down that 1 centimeter. So to improve the conversion rate on your website, say what you do. Make it super clear above the fold. And for a fun exercise, I'm going to suggest that you just keep it in mind as you go around the internet yourself over the next week. Have a look. Just have a look at how many websites you land on. Do a great job of saying, you're here and I know what we're doing, and how many people just say something cute or clever above the fold that force you to do further investigation. So that's the first tip. First things first, say what you do and do it above the fold. The second tip is that your website is not about you. Even the page that is called About Us or About Me is not about you. And this is an example from a wedding celebrant called John, and I'm not going to say anything to you that I haven't said to John, because John was the first client we ever had for our website review service. So it was actually his idea. I did a webinar. I got an email from an email from John that said, would you like to review my website and what would it cost for you to do that? So we did review his website, but John is in many ways the one who got away, because to me, the most obvious thing that he could do to improve his conversion rate was something that he didn't want to do. And that was talk less about himself and more about his clients. So if I give you an example, you've landed on John's webpage, and the first question he suggests that you might be asking is, what are you looking for in a wedding celebrant? That is a great heading, because I'm on the website. I'm okay. Yeah, what am I looking for? I'm a high school dropout, so now it's not about the reader anymore. It's immediately about John. I'm a high school dropout, but look at me now. I don't know what that has to do with being a wedding celebrant, and more importantly, what does it have to do with me as most likely a bride? I know from working with a lot of wedding celebrants that generally the person on their website is the bride, but not universally. I don't want to exclude anybody, but generally speaking, it's the bride. So I'm a bride. What's it got to do with me that you're a high school dropout? I'm bald with glasses and can change your life forever. Yeah, okay. But it's not like me. You'll like working with me because I'm friendly, house-trained, trustworthy, enthusiastic, helpful, reliable, organized, perfectionist, and have a dry sense of humor. I was a wedding DJ for 25 years. Okay, and I won't read the whole thing, but essentially, if the camera, and I think about copywriting in these terms a lot, where is the camera? And the camera in this example is on John. There's a lot here about John, and yes, you can reverse engineer what that says about me and the wedding that I want, but you shouldn't be asking your readers to reverse engineer where they fit in. You should be showing them where they fit in. So just to do the conclusion there, welcome, I'm John, your Melbourne marriage and wedding celebrant. The easiest way to get to know me and what I have to offer is to sit back, relax, and read the website. I am absolutely certain that a bride who is rushed off her feet trying to plan her wedding and has 10,000 things on her list of things to do does not want to pour herself a coffee, sit back, relax, put her feet up, and learn about you. That is not the goal that she's trying to accomplish today. So what does it look like if you have a website that's not about you? And this is an example from a client of ours, Affinity Communications, Melissa Donnelly. This is her new About Us page on her new website. And I love this as an example of what I'm talking about, because this is the above the fold section of Melissa's website, and there's nothing here about Melissa. Yes, communications advice for businesses that are serious about making changes. So she's confirming that she gives communications advice, and she's saying who you are, not who she is, who you are. You are a business that is serious about making changes. So the camera is on the reader. And if we go from there to the bit that's below the fold, you build a smart business, so it's a tragedy when you're the perfect fit for the work, but you lose out because the market doesn't see that capability. camera firmly on Melissa's reader, firmly on their problem. And yes, it's about her, because if you're reading that, you're thinking, wow, this person understands my problem, because that is me. Yes, we have a great business, and repeatedly we're going forward for work and we're not getting the work because we're not communicating clearly. So Melissa is talking about herself in that sense. You're seeing her expertise because she's diagnosing your problem so accurately, but she's not talking about herself. It's no good being the best provider or the best employer if the right people don't believe that's the case. Wow, that's so true. You really understand me. So this page is called About Us, but Melissa is demonstrating she understands you. Communications, marketing, branding, they're all about getting the right messages to the right people at the right time. That translates to bottom line significance for every business. So you've come to Melissa's About Us page and you are getting a sense of who she is and what she cares about and what she can help you with, but the camera is firmly on you, and that makes for a great About Us page. So have a look at your own About Us page and ask yourself, where is the camera pointing? Is it pointing at me because I saw that the title of the page was About Us and so I started writing about myself? Or is the camera pointing at your reader? So that's our second tip. The About Us page isn't all about you. And this tip here is get people where they're going as quickly as possible. So people have arrived on your website with a job that they want to do. So they're, in the case of Taleist, for instance, they're looking for something, but they've only arrived on our homepage. So I'm not sure what they're looking for. Are they looking for a copywriter? Are they looking for one of our online courses? Have they heard we've got a lot of free downloads or that we've got a mailing list? There are different reasons that people come to the site. And yes, of course, we've got navigation at the top of the page that you can use, but also we have a pop-up that's friendly and says, hello, what do you want? Copywriting, an online course, copywriting resource, or our mailing list. So we can quickly segment the visitors to the website into what they are most interested in doing. So you're going to get your conversion rate up if you get the right information in front of your prospect as quickly as possible. All coming back to that certainty and lack of confusion, because we've all been to a website where we've somehow clicked the wrong thing and we're looking at the wrong service and we're now thinking maybe this isn't the right company for us. But it's actually because we walked in through the kitchen instead of the front door of the restaurant, for instance. You just want to sort people into where they should be as quickly as possible. And you'll see that, there's the banner at the top that's talking about standout sessions. So for instance, it might be that you haven't come for a standout session, but it might be that appeals to you. So it's not in your way, but it's along the top, giving people an idea that, we have that, something on offer that you can come and get live questions answered. And that's important because only about 4%, 3%, depending on which studies you read, of people who visit your website are actually going to be ready to take action. So a lot of people come to your website because they're researching, they're looking at who's in the market, they're looking for what a solution to their problem might look like, what it might feel like, what it might involve. So if somebody's at that researching stage, they're going to read your website and then they're going to go away and read a few more things that they find on Google, find a few more people, ask for a couple more referrals, and maybe they'll be able to find their way back to your website, or maybe they won't. So the other thing that you want to be doing is trying to get people to sign up with you, to put their hand up and say, this is my name, or at very least, this is my email address. So as we have that pop up on the homepage, that invites people to use it as a guide to find the part of the website they're most interested in. And we have some long form content on the website that is SEO optimized and brings in a lot of visitors. So totally new people who've never heard of us before are Googling a problem, they want some information, we're showing up as the result, they're coming, they don't know Taleist from a bar of soap, they don't know me, and I don't know them. So what I want to do is to get them to sign up. So we have a lot of very long content on the site, And if you're on that content, a pop-up will appear and say, hey, this is long and you might not have time right now. How about we send it to you as a PDF? And that works brilliantly to get people onto the mailing list. And when they're on the mailing list, I can build a relationship with them and I can be keeping our name in front of them while they're going through that decision-making process. I imagine that you might be like a lot of the people I've spoken to over my career who hate pop-ups. They can't stand them. They don't know why anybody would have them and they don't want one on their website. And yet so many great websites have pop-ups on them. And why would that be? And it would be because they work. So you can see here that on our blog post about writing a great About Us page, we actually have 3 pop-ups. So one pop-up appears after about 15 seconds and says, hey, this is long. Would you like it as a PDF? We can send it to you as an email. Later on, now you might ignore that. You might go, no, I've got stacks of time. I'm going to carry on reading, or I'm not sure this post is valuable yet. I'm not willing to give you my email address. So a little bit later, we ask you again, another pop-up appears. So it's a second different pop-up that appears on a different time trigger and asks you, would you like to sign up? So as you can see, the first pop-up gets a 1.54% conversion rate. So 1.54% of people sign up. So in the period of time, this is the most recent snapshot that I've taken of this data. I took it yesterday. 8 people have joined the mailing list as a result. The second pop-up has a 3.37% conversion rate. So it doesn't show to as many people because not as many people have got as far into the post as the people who see this pop-up. But of the people who have seen more of the post, 3.37% sign up. So that's another 3 people. Then we get to the Perfect About Us page, last chance. So if you look like you're going to exit the page, another pop-up appears and says, hey, before you go, maybe you thought this was too long, why don't you get the PDF? That's got a 4.85% conversion rate. So that's another 30 people who've been added to our mailing list. So in total, over this time period, we've had 41 people added to our mailing list by adding a pop-up. And the majority of our sales of online training come from people who've been on the mailing list. So they've been on the mailing list, they get 2 emails a week, they see that we provide value, they see that we know what we're talking about. And when we say, hey, would you like a course on LinkedIn or writing a landing page, they're much more likely to buy. So before you dismiss pop-ups, think about all the people who are visiting your website and you have no idea who they are. And I'm putting this in the simple conversion rate tips because we use a tool called ConvertBox. You can see the name down there on the button on the left. It takes me 5 minutes to set up one of these pop-ups, so I can put one up quickly, test one. If we're doing a stand-up session, I can put one up and quickly test it. And if that's the sort of thing that interests you, they have a special lifetime deal, which you can access through taleist.agency/pop-up, one word, pop-up, if you're listening to the podcast, not watching the live stream. So if you go to taleist.agency/pop-up, you can get the special deal on ConvertBox. And all of those pop-ups that you see on the screen now, as I say, would have taken me 5 or 10 minutes to set up. And you can see from the statistics that people are joining our mailing list, and I can tell you that our mailing list is a big driver of product sales for us. So if that's of any interest to you, you're welcome to ask any questions that you might have about conversion rates there. But we also have some questions that people have asked before. So before I go to answering any questions about this, I'll answer a few of the questions that have built up over time.